Hey, Lowe's leaders, Wayne Herring here for one more. There'll be a bonus video. There's one more video about DISC behaviors, DISC, and driving forces. And what I have here is a wheel, and I pulled the first one I saw, which so happens to be the day shift. There's also night shift wheels, weekend shift wheels. We got the day shift wheel, so you can find yours and take a look. It'll be very similar. And I just want to take a few minutes to explain what we have here and what you might do with this. You know, what you might do with it. There's not just one thing to do with this. A lot of this is to just help you think, see people a bit differently, think of yourself a little bit differently, look for strengths, weaknesses, maybe understand humans a little bit better, right? And so the first wheel is DISC, the DISC wheel, or the behavior wheel. And all of your teammates, when you get your right wheel, you'll have this page, and then if you scroll down, there'll be one with the names on it, right? You see that. So you can go back to the wheel, look at the number, go back to the wheel. I like to print these out and write people's names next to them, which will get pretty crowded because there's a lot of people here. Maybe there's ones you don't really interact with. Don't bother labeling those, right? Maybe that's not important to you. But this wheel is just like the one that was in your report. And so in the upper right-hand corner, conductor, that's D, right? That's dominance, direct energy. Extroverted, task focus. Down the right, promoter, that would be I. That is influence, and it is an extroverted people focus. Energy comes out, focus on people. Lower left is S, right, where the supporter is, and that's steadiness, and it's an introverted people focus. Working to maintain steadiness, continuing to work, doing repetitive work. Upper left analyzer is C, or compliance, which is details, analytical, and being able to stay on task. It's introverted task focus. And those letters on a wheel act like magnets to pull your number, your dot, your star, which I'll talk about momentarily, towards the strength of your DISC. And again, remember, all of you can be C. You can use the C behavior style. You can use the S behavior style, the I and the D. It just might take your energy a bit. And it might not be it might not be your go-to. So you may need to adapt to these corners. But when you look at this wheel, the dot, the circles, your number, that is your natural state. So here, whoever number 3 is, doesn't matter. They're naturally very dominant, very direct. That D is really pulling them there, right? And then their star, it doesn't move a lot. So that means at work, they show up in their role pretty much the same most of the time as they are naturally. So the star does pull a little bit away, and it pulls towards the I. It means that in their role, they think they need to be a little less task focused, a little more convincing the people to do it. So the stars are adapted state. Do we have any big shifts? Well, some fairly big shifts. So here, this number 12 person, right here, they're over more towards the D and the I are pulling pretty hard, but in their role, they're going towards C. They're going towards, sometimes they have to work alone to get tasks done, is what that would look like to me in their role. So their star is moved over. Over here, number 4 goes from in between S and C, going more towards in their role. They must need to talk to people or be more extroverted, more I, right? So the star 4 dot down to there. So you can look at that and see that. You can take a look at yourself like, oh, that's how I adapt. This is useful to look at. Oh, okay, so whoever number 1 person is, I'm not going to even look at it because this was number 1 person. They're very extroverted. They got a lot of energy coming out. If they're on your team and you lead them, you'd want to give them opportunities to influence other people. So if you're having it can be moments, right? So if there's a contest that the company is having and you need somebody to be the champion, explain to everybody what's going on, or a party, let that person do it. They'll love to do that. They'll love to explain that. If you have some new problem that needs to be analyzed, this 14 and 15 person, that's who I'd invite to do that, right? Over at Analyzer, because they want to analyze things. I can look at this and I can see, I can, at a glance, expect that person number 10 is going to show up. Go back to your 4-square grid, right? Read about S. That's how they're likely to show up. That's the role they're going to be energized to be in. right? They're not going to want to be up here and the like go take charge and drive and push. They're going to prefer to like get the work done. They can still be a team lead, by the way, but they're not going to get it by driving change. They're going to get it more like lining everybody up to do the same thing they've done every day and to keep things cool, keep things steady. And wow, isn't that valuable in a facility? So I can look at this and get curious about other people and their behavior style, see where they go, see where they kind of belong. I can see how I fit in and how, again, at a glance, how some things energize me and some things don't, but you still got to do them at times, right? I can find people on here to talk to, build a relationship with that might help me to do some of the things that I'm not good at. Now, they may actually just help me and do it and clear it up, and they might do it quickly, right? Or they could coach me and give me energy on how to handle something, or support me if I have to do something out of my behavior style to get my energy back, right? So those are things, and it's limitless. But you can just look at this and get curious about other people and see who they really are. The other wheel, y'all get a wheel where you can see everybody's driving forces. And so the way this works is, I think it says so on here too. Yeah, it does. So the outside ring is like a dartboard, right? It's like a dartboard in a pub or a Pennsylvania bar. Could be English darts or American darts. And it looks kind of like that. So if you're a team leader, worthwhile to look at your team and see what are they driven by, what are they motivated by. Again, at a glance, is there anything you're missing on your team that you're like, it'd be nice to have somebody who is driven by that and who cares about that. You can go back to your report and read the definitions. Intellectual, what does that mean? What's the drive for knowledge? It's wanting to learn, continuing to learn new things all the time, reading nonfiction books, manuals of how to work a machine. I want to learn. I want to know new things. Don't dry me out with no knowledge. Like I noticed here on this one, there's really nobody who's resourceful. Resourceful is generally optimizing resources, money, people. I would say what that is, look over on the other side. Most of them are unselfless. Most of you are unselfless. That probably means that you're satisfied fulfilling tasks, and the corporation and perhaps perhaps the leadership team is identifying where the best ROI is, how to maximize resources. And you don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about the money. You just get to go do your work and take a list and do it. That's pretty cool, actually, thinking about that. That's the story I have. That's what it looks like to me. A fair number of people are out here commanding, wanting to lead, control the destiny, or influence. I want to say control, influence the destiny of others. That's cool. When you have leaders in a building with all those people, like I need people to be in charge. So take a look at where you're at. Outside ring is your strongest driver. Next ring, when you find your number, that's your second driver. Next ring, your third, and the last one, your fourth. Which even anything that shows up here is pretty strong, right? And you have teammates. Ask them, hey, how does this, and look at the definition of harmonious. If you work with number 9 or number 8 or number 14, 10 or 2, they're driven by this harmonious thing. Read the definition. Ask them questions. Get to know them better when you have time, in moments. Find out what that means to them. Your work life will be richer for it. You'll learn things about people. It'll be easier in a moment of stress to realize who this person really is. And not just the action that they just took or didn't take, right? So that's another way you can use it. Hope this helps. Wheels are a great way to see at a glance where people land, and then to use as a reference, go back to your own report to be able to build stronger relationships, which lead to higher work output. When people feel satisfied at work, they're more likely to do things that are out of their comfort zone. When people feel happier at work, they work faster and efficiently, not just rapid, higher quality, higher output. It's really true. Take care. Good.